Good evening and welcome to the stream. This is part 25 of our ongoing journey to finish Might and Magic 2 on the Mac. And on last night's stream we ventured into the dungeons of Castle Pinehurst and Castle Hillstone, the level 1 of both of them, and finished them both up. And the plan tonight is to finish level 1 of the Luxus Palace Dungeon, and when we're done with that, I want to make a trip to Castle Xabran and see if we can finish that one off. Now, according to my notes, Castle Xabran holds all of the discs that we need to get the various talents that are placed in the different elemental planes, and I want to see how far we are along in being able to finish Castle Xabran. Maybe we will be leveled down very quickly. Hi there, Chiz, welcome to the stream. If not, we could finish Castle Xabran off and then continue with the level 2 dungeons that are remaining, which would then be the Castle Woodhaven, Hillstone, and the Luxus Palace level 2 dungeons. And we also have a task of finishing mapping the outside squares in the Desert of Dissolution. But once we're done with those, we are pretty much done with the game. So maybe at this point, maybe 8 different dungeons remain until we, or 8 squares remain until we can start wrapping up this game. We are slowly getting there, so let's get going. This is going to be potentially a fun stream if we are as lucky as we were yesterday. Yesterday's stream was actually fairly fun. We got a lot done. Now we need to make our way up to the palace here. Without getting very lost. And we are inside. Let's I'm gonna check my notes, see where the dungeon lies here. The dungeon is at 00. That's the stairs to the dungeon. Oh, that's potentially through here. So as is usual, we will cast the light, then we will cast the protection from the elements and protection from magic. Then we're pretty much all done and waiting to fight our next enemy, which is, I'm sure, will be here shortly. The door says no dwarves. We have a dwarf on the party, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. Usually it's just one square that is limited, and we will then go back if needed. Now, the sign above the door reads bad guys. I'm gonna assume there are bad guys in the rooms that are clearly labeled bad guys. I think it's safe to assume that we are in for some encounters there. At least the game isn't really bad guys. Say the doors on this side of the aisle. Isolation says this door, and really bad guys says this one. So I'm going to assume that this is going to be one constant encounter. Very bad guys says this door here. Guards, more guards, really bad guys, really bad guys, really bad guys, isolation, really bad guys, very bad guys. Hey there, Gleeser. We are about to get started with level 1 of the Luxus Palace Royal Dungeon. Just checking out the doors here. There are a couple of unlabeled ones, but mostly they are labeled in a way that tells us that we are in for some fights. And lots of them. And Gleeser, we managed to complete level 1 of both the Pinehurst and the Hillstone dungeon last night, so we got somewhere. And, I'm going to see how far we get now. I don't know where to start. There are plenty of bad guys. Perhaps we should start with the worst here. Start with the doors that are labeled isolation. There were a couple of doors like that. And with the nice doors. No sorcerers, says this door. I'll visit it later. Let's go into the guard room. We have entered an unauthorized area. That's nice. They took all of our gold away. So we won't do that again. Just when you think you've seen it all in this game, it adds a new twist. So we're not allowed to go inside that particular door. Let's not do that then. I think we were actually down here. Yes, we were. So we're not allowed to go inside this door that says no guards. And these are some mountain men. We've seen them before many times. Not that difficult. Now I will cast the beacon spell here, and we will go back to Millgate and leave the sorcerer behind. Go back and finish the room where we can't have the sorcerer. We have found an amber skull. That's nice. We'll head back again, fetch the sorcerer. Let's see. We'll have them in this order here. See what this item does here. It increases intellect by 15, so it's a very useful item for the sorcerer. Now it's tempting to simply remove her weapon at this point. We very rarely use her as a character in the battle. It's very rare, so we might as well just use that slot for this item. Will increase her spell points quite a bit. Brought her intellect up to 51. And her spell points are currently at 270 and they go to 297. That's a hike of almost 30. That matters in a difficult battle, so we'll save this combination of the party here and use the beacon spell to go back to our previous location. Cast the protection spells here. Get going with the rest here. Now we can't go in here, so I'm not going to do that again. This door is unlabeled, but it still features an encounter. Nothing more of interest in this particular room here. Really bad guys set this door. Those are some bad guys. I'll readily admit that. But they're also undead, which is unfortunate for them because we have a solution for that. I'm sure there is a hidden part of this somewhere. Not here. Eight paladins, okay. That's actually a decent amount of paladins. They are really difficult. We are also quite strong. It's impossible to tell exactly what would have been the correct order for these dungeons, but I'm fairly sure that the Pinehurst one was the most difficult. And followed by the one in Hillstone, and then followed by this one. This appears to be, at least so far, pretty easy. We're done here. Some boneheads here. And some elf warriors. Bonehead is undead, so you can remove him using the Holy Word spell and focus on the warriors. Okay, we're making decent progress here. All the doors seem to be unlocked from the outside but locked from the inside, which is somewhat interesting. You can open them going in, but you can't open them going out. Seems like a theoretical impossibility, but never mind. Lots of guards here. Steam rises from a magical well. Will you sample the water? Let's take a quick snapshot here before we do that. We are in it's 5Y0. Let's have a drink here. See what happens. Right now, apparently nothing. Let's rest and see if anything changed. Our endurance was increased by 3 at the cost of speed. Okay, trade-off in some cases. We lost, gained 3 endurance at the cost of 5 in speed. Not really worth it. We'll let Sir Lancelot have it. It will mean that he will gain more hit points, but we won't do it again for any other character. There's a decent chance that these doors are lying. So we'll try to be careful on going through them, not putting too much faith in the labels, and might well be that some of the doors that are labeled bad guys are actually very bad. Some of the doors that are labeled very bad guys are in fact not, so we'll rush the game with that assessment. These appear to be smaller little chambers here. Bunch of soldiers here, 1 dragon, and a bunch of soldiers and a single dragon. There must be a hidden room somewhere down there. Currently don't have access to. Resting every other fight now. I'm putting some faith in the game not screwing us over, which it might do anyway. Drop some of this cheaper stuff here. We are filling all of our characters up with endless amounts of junk. None of the undead monsters main, it's just the brainless ones here. "13 cloud dragons, that's quite a few cloud dragons. How are we doing on space here? Probably running. Yeah, sometimes that seems to be the case. The more time that has been spent on the character graphics, the more difficult the enemy. It's entirely possible. This is one of these pretty difficult ones. However, the Grey Walker is undead, so we can remove him using the Holy Word spell. Get rid of him. We've now fought 1640 battles so far in this game, and we are nowhere near done yet. Seems like almost a silly number at this stage. Still haven't found the secret way down there. I assume it's now behind this one here. So is the last one. Get rid of the melting man here. Yeah, they are the graphics in this game are pretty nice, I must admit, especially considering that this is a game since 1989. No, this is not the way, so one then has to wonder how it is that we get down there. Perhaps the only way to get in there is by means of teleport. No. Okay, it's down here. This might be the way to the stairs to the second level of the dungeon. It's entirely possible. What's a nice party like you doing in a trap dungeon like this? Hillstone dungeon, it's much more exciting. Follow me there. Okay, no. This is the teleport to Hillstone dungeon. That's X15, Y0. We don't want to go there. We yeah, she's not bad looking, I'll readily admit. Did we accidentally go to Hillstone dungeon? Yes, we did. I was so busy looking at a nice lady that we traveled between dungeons. I was just going to take a look at her picture. I wasn't really going to travel anywhere. Yeah, she's that's the image that they used for the sorceress, the enchantress, and Dawn, and some of the other martyrs in the game. It's a pretty nice image. Now I think we will sort of be forced to travel back now. We have almost full backpacks, so I will set the beacon spell here and go back to town. And sell some of this stuff here. We also have some stuff here for from the hireling. Sort of want to take a look at what this crystal vial does here. Identify that. It's for the ninja, it gives you 15 speed. Okay, let's fetch a ninja here. add him to the party, and give him this vial. Then return him back. These are difficult items to get. It's good to just give them away at least, so we don't accidentally sell them. They're hard to find. Oh, there was some items with Sir Hiron as well. And William Tell. Not going to sell any of this, but this we will sell. I'm not going to sell. We will sell the broadsword here and the B-plate mail. I'm not going to be using those. Sell this as well. Okay. Done here. For now, let's check whether we are close to leveling up for someone here. The thief is not far away. He's about 170,000 away. He seems to make it out of these battles alive more often than many of the other characters. He's leveled up slightly more than the rest. We already completed this one, but let's do it again anyway. We will have all of these battles once. It's pointless to have them many times, really. We need the experience, but not to the level where we're going to be grinding down in these dungeons. It's not worth it. We're going to be grinding somewhere. I would rather be grinding in the Dragon's Cave. Potentially far more difficult place. Now the trickster is apparently very annoying. He's a gem thief. Let's see if we find it again. If we don't, we will go back. Yeah, we'll go back. This is why you save in this game. It can do this to you. You meet some monster, he steals all of your gems. You can't cast any spells anymore. This is also why I back up my saves, just in case. So if we don't notice it, we can at least we don't lose many days of work. So this game can be brutal. Lots of these little lightning bugs here. They are difficult in a high amount like they are here. I'll try to get their spell points, get their hit points down a little bit here first, and then use the Dancing Crow spell to bring them down as much as we can. We can stand a few rounds, but not a lot of them. Game is sometimes consistent in the type of enemy and the amount of treasure. For a dragon you get a lot of golden gems, but for a bunch of flies you get barely anything. To get these tricksters out of the way here before they steal any of our stuff. I didn't manage to do that this time around. A good friend, the Horned Fiend, is here again. I think we're mostly resistant to his magic at this point, but still. We want to get him out of the way. Down he goes. Now Jeff Bezos is here and Amazon. Yeah, there is the swarm spell is very useful. Doesn't do nearly as much damage as the as a dancing sword spell, but for the lower level monsters at the bottom of the barrel, it does a decent amount of damage, and when you can cast it 2 times in a row, like we're doing with both the paladin and the cleric, then it's fairly effective in limiting the number of remaining hit points that the monster has. So when we are able to beat him with something else, it's easy to take them down. Three of these tricksters here, I will focus particularly on getting them down here, so we don't have to deal with them. Don't want to be robbed. And we will focus our energy on the rest here. Lots of these boneheads here as well. Okay. Very small rooms. Encountering every single one of them. Shoot down the trickster. Then we'll use the holy word spell on the bonehead. There's a hidden area, quite large, probably behind some of these walls here. Not immediately obvious where you access it. Perhaps from here. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm waiting for in terms of the outdoor spells. We still have these 2 outside areas over there on E2 and E3 that we haven't finished yet. And they are still, at least the last time I tried, quite difficult. So we could use some help with them. Be completely honest. Now there's a large part that we haven't been able to access here. That is surely accessible from somewhere. You will find that probably soon enough. For now, let's finish the other end of this hallway here. Might go back after finishing this hallway, sell some of this loot, potentially level up the thief if we are leveled high enough. These are quite a few panels. We're getting roughly 10,000 for every door that we fight, so 120 or 30,000, which was what we needed, is easily achieved here. We're going through these enemies like a knife through hot butter right now. These are fairly easy to handle. It's somewhat dangerous not to get overconfident and cocky here, which usually in this game means that you will die pretty instantly. It's our good friend, the juggler, and he was pretty much instantly killed. Lots of undead ones here. We'll use the holy word spell. Get rid of them. We're slowly running out of space. Drop some of the less valuable items here to make room in the backpack. Now the classic monsters in every D&D game, the bat and the spider. Okay. This is probably the right time to go back. Cast a beacon here. Travel back to town. Sell some of this loot here. Not completely full, but pretty close. Let's see. Yes, the robber is ready for level 28 and the others are getting close. Probably buy more food. Yeah, running low. No particular need to save on the food. We have plenty of money. Teleport back. Well, this room was labeled guards. There's nothing actually in it. Okay, this is one of these unauthorized areas. It's possible that this is triggered randomly. I'm going to check. Might be that it's randomly triggered and doesn't trigger every time. No, this is definitely not random. This happens every time in this room, at least. So we won't go in there. Then again, we don't have to. But we can go in here. There's nothing going on here. We can't go in there. So these are the stairs down. They are in X13Y5. Good to know. Monsters are not in the same location in here as they've been so far. Snow space left here, so in any case we've completed this part here. There's another door on this side. Lots of porgons there at the bottom. I think we're mostly protected from the Gorgon at this point, but I still want to get them out of the way as soon as we can. Down he goes. Gorgons. Lots of them, in fact. And some gnome elders here. They're easy enough. Another very easy fight. We can fight the ghouls easily. We'll rest here, recuperate our hit points or our spell points mostly. The super sprite, the least annoying of all the sprites. And quite a few of the troubadours. Now we found a defense ring +8. It's actually valuable if we can use it. Can't. Don't think anyone else has tried the archer. 50 to 35 to 45. Potentially we could use this to fix the rubber up a little bit here. Might be a worthwhile trade-off. It will lower William Tell to 45, but it will bring the rubber up to a more decent 43. Let's try this for a bit here. We will eventually get better armor. Of lizards. The thing, however, with the lizards at this point is that they are pretty much unable to hit us. You could go 20 rounds with them and they would never get a single point of us. Lots of lepers. Won't waste magic on the lepers, we'll just beat them if they don't run away, that is. Okay. Oh, great. That was less than great. We had no way of knowing that was there. So we've lost all of our gold and we have to do all of this again. What a trolley game. I suppose it could be worse. Oh, it was this one as well that we couldn't access. I suppose it could be worse. These could have been more difficult and they actually ended up being take it. Allowed to go in here, but we are allowed to go into all of these. These were the stairs. We're being very careless here, and all of these fights were pretty easy, so I'm easing up the paranoia level that I would usually show. This one is actually slightly more difficult than we've seen. Get rid of the killer cadavers here. The worst thing is that we lost the defense ring. That's actually what I'm mostly annoyed with. Okay, dudes, have a good night. I'll see you here tomorrow night for more Might and Magic action. We are approaching the end here, slowly but surely. Now we are mostly where we were previously. Seem to have forgotten one room here down at the bottom. So these woodsmen will them down using old-fashioned methods. Okay. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, we have this dungeon left here, the level 1. Then we have there is a level 2 in every one of the castles, so that's at least 3 more. And we have 2 outside squares. That's 5, and there's Castle Xabran. That's 6. And then we have the final dungeon. It's at least 7. It's probably 8. But given that we completed at least 40 by this point, it's really not all that much. Yeah, it's more than that. It's probably I think it's probably 4 or 5 streams at least. As we'll probably hit 30 before we finish the game. Depends on how well it goes. We spent yesterday we completed 2 complete dungeons in 3 hours, but the night before it took me 3.5 hours to complete 1. So sometimes the going is very slow. And in that particular dungeon we spent an entirety stuck in teleport hell. There were these random locations that were teleporting us back and forth. So you had to go at the same room again and again and again. It took very long. Yeah, that's just the way this goes sometimes. The ones that are difficult, they you have to do them over and over again, so that it takes you forever. Set the beacon here. We weren't allowed to visit the square there at the end. I will try to avoid that. Yeah, good night, Chiz. I hope you have a good night's sleep. I don't dare other than travel to town here, just in case we end up in a situation where we lose all of our gold. Not worth it. Not sure if this square here is also like this. Does not appear to be. Now this door says no dwarves. I'll cast a beacon here. We'll go back and remove the dwarves from the party. Paladin is a dwarf. He's the only dwarf in the party, it seems. So the paladin gets removed and we go back. Shower of soft pellets cascade upon the party. You feel different. What just happened to us? We gained some hit points. Not many, but a few. Always welcome. We'll travel back to town, pick up the paladin. Add him to the party. It's best to reorganize here. It's difficult to add them in the correct order again. This is the correct order. We'll go back and save this order. And we will travel back to the castle. Cast the protection spells and get out of this room here. Now we are more than 2/3 done here, it seems. Slowly getting there. Bunch of boneheads and assassins here. Yeah, bonehead is rather annoying. So is the assassin. The assassin is not undead, so we can't simply remove him using that spell, which would be preferable. That lucky. But he's not immune to magic, so we can attack him using magic. Which we will do to prevent him from slaying us down here. Hello Longshanks, welcome to the stream. I'm doing pretty good today, thank you. Yourself? How's your day been? We are working on the dungeon over in the Luxus Palace Royal. This fine game. The first level of that particular dungeon, which would then be the final first level dungeon that we haven't completed in the game. We are slowly finishing everything up here. Very slowly, but pretty surely. Now these dungeons are nothing but an endless row of different encounters, so it's just a matter of fighting through them. This one isn't nearly as difficult as some of the earlier ones were. We've had a pretty easy going, at least so far. It's been manageable. Now these suckers appear to be difficult. We'll try the Holy Word spell. Don't have enough spell points. Now we might potentially be in trouble. We need to get rid of the Grim Reaper, start with them before they kill all of us. We need to attack the Phantom. A pretty large hidden area there, which I'm not sure how we access, potentially from here. Yeah, there's a door to be accessed from here. This door is labeled guards, and there is a decent chance that we will lose all of our gold. Set a beacon here and return to town. Use the opportunity to sell some of the stuff that we've been getting here, and save the game, and then return. There have been quite a few rooms here that are labeled like this, that end with us losing all of our gold. Yes, and this is one of them. We get stripped of every piece of gold that we have. We are not about to enter this. We'll revert to the save. We've been fooled by this enough so far. So we leave this one. Got hit by the door. This was labeled isolation. This door is labeled no archers. Yeah, it's pretty close to being a real D&D game without actually being a real D&D game. And I find that the few changes that they made are actually pretty good. Now we find ourselves dealing with a Gorgon. He's a magical being that can turn you to stone. However, we are potentially a level high enough that the spell is mostly ineffective at this point. It's however unwise to give him many chances to do this, so it's better to try to take him down before he has many chances. That leaves the room on the other side there that was marked no archers. We will cast a beacon again here and return to town, leave the archer, and return. For every room like this, there is a item to be found that gives you potential benefit. We found a topaz shard, which is then an item that is meant for the archer, which is why he can't come along. So we will travel back to town and pick up the archer again. I will remove some of the characters so we can put them back in the correct order here, and I will trade this item with the archer, and we will see if we can find some space for him. Let's see what the topaz shard actually does. Increases accuracy by 15. So potentially we could remove the ray gun, which is giving him how much? A few. What is the accurate sword doing for us? It's giving us similar amount. This is not giving us the same. The topaz shard is higher. It will bring him up to 57. And potentially give us someone else who could have the ray gun then. Don't think we have. The Roland might have a ray gun. He has a ray gun plus 12. He's already using one place for that. Potentially there is no other member of the party that has a ray gun at this moment in time. No, probably not. An accuracy of 57 is still pretty high. So we'll simply sell the ray gun then. Only worth about 1,000. And then we will return once again to the castle and continue exploring this here. There appears to be nothing in this room here. Perhaps you already completed it. There is nothing there. Just a bunch of soldiers and some griffins. We'll start with the see what the griffins do. They might advance. They probably will. One of us got turned to stone. It's not really a big deal. We start condition. Rest and search. We found something called an exacto spear plus 8. Every once in a while we run into these fairly decent weapons here. Too bad that the exacto spear can not be worn by everyone. It's I was hoping we could maybe use it with the cleric, but that is not the case. And the It does very little damage, so it's not worth very much. At this point of the game, some of the magical casters in the game don't even have a melee weapon. We are simply always using them to cast spells. And instead using the equipment slot for armor or other valuable items instead of weapons. Now the few squares that are unmapped here have all been squares where we lose all our gold if we step in, so there's a reason they are unmapped. And in reality we only have these 3 rooms left here. Want to take down the leprechaun here as soon as I can before it steals all of our gold. It's very annoying. I don't think it actually managed to do so. No, it did not. We did not manage to unlock the door. So, really bad guys at the door, but there is no one in here. That just leaves this single room here. This is the last room. Some of these tricksters here, we want to get rid of them as well. They are thievery bastards. Want them all to go down. Then we want to get rid of all of these mummies as well. That's it for level 1 of this particular dungeon. It didn't take very long. At the same time as the other dungeons did last night. So, what I want to try to do now is I want to go back to the town at this exact moment in time. I want to see how many experience points we need here. We need 180,000 maximum. Some of us are already ready for the next level. Now what I want to do here, I want to rest and then I want to go outside and I want to go farm some experience points to level everyone up before we go over and try to find Castle Xabran, which is the last castle in the game. Now the problem with Castle Xabran is that it's not at our moment in time, so we have to go looking for it in another century. And it might be quite difficult, but I think we're ready at this point to give it a go. Now if we're not, which will then come immediately obvious to us, we will have a go at some of the level 2 dungeons in the game. We have 3 left, we've completed 1, there are 3 left. Now this should give us roughly 100,000 per round here. So once we're done with this, we should be able to level up all we need to do to respawn this is to leave the map, but we will go back to town and we can probably already level some of them up, and we can also sell some of this stuff here. So we don't fill our backpacks with stuff. We are pretty close to leveling up. We'll do one more round of this and then we'll go level up the rest. Where are we now? Now, let's see. We are now at level 29 for every character except for Sir Lancelot and Knight, which we leveled an additional level up by trading our gold for experience. So we should now be in a fairly good condition. Now we need to go to search my notes here. Regarding Castle Xabran. Doesn't say exactly where in time it is, so we do have access to the time machine, so we will travel to Castle Pinehurst and we know where it is on the map, so it's just a matter of figuring out when it is. We will go speak to Lord Peabody and do some traveling here. Where are we? We are in C4. Which is not great, Bob. We are in Y4. Now it's very dangerous to travel during these prehistoric times in the game. There aren't many monsters, but the ones you find tend to be quite difficult. At least that's been my experience so far, so don't want to have too many fights here. We can have a few. We'll also cast the protection spells here in case we end up in a hard or near impossible battle. Otherwise we will mostly try to teleport to avoid having these battles. It's avoidance is the best strategy here. Now the castle is here. Scholars and sages flow in and out of mystic Castle Xabran enter, yes. So I was right, it's in the 8th century. Now, one of the problems here is that we only have so much time in the 8th century before we have to go back. So what we have to do is we have to finish as much of this as we can before we have to go back in time. And I'm fairly sure that we cannot use any of the usual tricks such as the teleport here, so we will have to try to be very smart about how we approach these fights. And it's very likely that we won't be able to rest very often. We are already on day 2. We just entered the castle. Let's see how far we can get. Now this is the last castle in the game, and I don't think this particular castle has any dungeon. I think it's just this one ground level. It does, however, it has all of the discs that we need in order to get the talons from the elemental planes. And these are all items that you need in the final dungeon to complete the game. So, finishing this castle is a pretty big part of finishing the game. There's nothing in this room here. Another encounter here. Lots of gargoyles. They are easy enough, we won't waste spell points on them. Try to fight them, they won't take many of our hit points away. And we will remove this paralysis condition instead of sleeping. It's cheaper for us in terms of resting than having to rest for 8 hours. Let's see, it's very tempting to try to take down the cloud dragons here. And not spend too much energy fighting these foot soldiers with magic. We will rather quick fight them. Now, this is obviously Hollow Spells key. Welcome to the Hall of Spells. We have a list of spells which can only be found. They list as follows: C, Cleric, or S, Sorcerer, level and spell number, area found in plus coordinates, happy hunting. Okay. Okay, let's see what it says. There's nothing else actually in this particular room. I assume these hints are somewhere else. This is the Hall of Spells here. Now C23 is in C3 and 1-9. I think we already have this spell. Yes, we do. That's Nature's Gate. We already found that spell. That was with the druid. We needed to eat a particular meal. Now spell C3-6 is in C2 and 11-1. I think we also have this spell. Let's walk on water. Yes, we found that. That was just sitting on a tree in a handy location for us. Now C42 is an A188. 42 we already have. That's the air transmutation spell. It's in the elemental plane of air. Spell C51 is in A1-114. That's the air encasement spell. That's in the same elemental plane. Now spell C53 is in B481. C53 is the frenzy spell. We already found that. It was with a monster that often goes into a frenzy, and we learned the spell while fighting them. Now clerical spell 61 is in E488. That's the earth transmutation spell. We found that in the elemental plane of earth. Spell C64 is in A4 in 1-1. 64 is water encasement. We found that in the elemental plane of water. And we have, 65, which is in A488. That's probably the water transmutation spell, which we already found. It's in the same location, yes. Then we have clerical spell 7-1, which is in E4-14-1. The earth encasement spell was in the elemental plane of earth. Then we have clerical spell 8-1, which was where it's in E1-14-4. That's the transmutation spell from the earth, or fire encasement spell from earth. We found that in the elemental plane of fire. Then we have, isn't this the same spell? I think it is. Yes, it is. Two spells here in the same location. And spell C91, which was in Druid's Cave 14-4. That was the Divine Intervention spell. We learned that by defeating the Druid that had lost his mind, and we finished that fairly easily. And I assume this is the last spell, which is probably the Holy Word spell. We already have it. We found that particular spell while walking through the forest. And it is, in fact, the most effective undead spell in the game. Basically wipes out any undead monster. We will be forced to rest after this. And that chest explodes while we trap it. They are particularly difficult here, the chests. The robber is a almost at 100% and still he's unable to open them without issue. Now here is the yellow interleaf. Finally, every 2 letters should be matched till the end. Try this way. It's message 956174283. Now we have all of the yellow messages. We were missing the interleaf. So now we should be able to solve it. And, we might do that later on. Let's see. Quite a few of these nasties here. It is a good thing that we rested. The Devil's Envoy is still left standing, so I think we will use the power cure here to fix our situation a little bit. We are pretty down on hit points right now. We won't withstand a great deal more from the Devil's Envoy. Well, the first one goes down. One of them remains. And finally he goes down. It was a difficult fight. One of the more difficult ones we've had in recent times here. Atop a transparent pedestal rests a disc. Take it. Yes, this is the first of the discs that we find here. Finding a lot of stuff here that I'm simply going to drop so that we have space for all of this. This is the air disc. We're going to need all of the discs. There are 4 of them and we are going to need to carry all of them. And I assume that we're going to have to fight our way to all of them as well. Just a hidden area here. Now the crawlers aren't actually all that difficult, but the Dark Knight is, so we will focus our attention on them at the moment. Try to take them down. before they take us down. We'll worry about the creepy crawlers at a later stage. This was potentially worth it. We can potentially restore some of this. However, we are in pretty deep trouble right now. Managed to run away. It's probably the best we can do for now. We have no one who can heal us, so we're going to have to return to our time, which is a matter of just resting a few times. We will eventually be returned. And we can restore our condition here. And sell some of our stuff. And buy some more food as well. Has to be stocked up on the food. Save the game, and then we will have to return to Castle Pinehurst to use the time machine. It seems that we can spend quite some time in the 800s, in the 8th century, so long as we don't rest many times in a row, so it's not really that big of a deal. However, we potentially have to be quite careful. Let's use the teleport spell again. Last time we found ourselves in a battle here just before leaving the square. I'm going to try to avoid that now, which I managed to do. Might be able to walk on the road. Yes, we can. Here's the castle. Let's go in. Let's proceed where we left off. We'll have to have this fight here. We should have rested. Seems that we are lost quite a few of our spell points here. We will probably live to tell this tale, but this was not a smart way to approach this. We should have rested before going into this battle here. Never mind. We are luckily well protected by magic, so although these are doing a lot of damage, we are still able to mostly get away. We won't survive another bout with the minor devils, and I need to go down at this point. Down they go. Live to fight another day. However, we go directly into another battle and die instantly. So much for that. We'll go back. What I will do now, so we don't constantly do this again and again, I will go back to Middle Gate and I will rest here and then cast the protection spells so that we are fully rested and fully protected before heading out. It's not a good idea to leave the save like this. I don't think we can actually cast the beacon spell there. We might potentially cast it in Castle Pinehurst, but probably doesn't matter very much. I'm going to see if the teleport spell is available here. It potentially is. Try it anyway. Yes, it is. So we can skip the battle here. Go through the Hall of Spells till we reach this point and go back in here. Unlock this door. Have this fight here. This fight is decently difficult. It's obviously supposed to be difficult to make it to this point in the game. Been a while since we've been decently challenged, so this is actually sort of fun again. Cast the protection spells. Fairly important. And again, go into this battle. This one is much easier than the one that we faced here earlier. Such is the roll of the dice in this game many times. These battles are not nearly all as difficult. Sometimes you just get very unlucky, and that seems to have been the case here. Okay, we made it through this fairly easily. We'll sleep anyway to recuperate all of our spell points. We might need them. This is a 4x4 room here. There is potentially quite a bit of secret levels left. Strider is here. 4 of them actually. Oh, this is a difficult fight. We find ourselves in here. Cast the power shield. will help us a little bit. Now we're in a bad situation. We've lost a cleric and we've lost the paladin as well. Chances of getting out of this alive are decreasing by the second. I think we're basically dead here. We will attempt this again. But I assume, as always in the game, that that we are at the point now where we are about to make major progress in the game, and that's where the game tends to be difficult. What I will do now is I will cast the beacon right in front of the time machine. Potentially, if we make it back, that will save us a little bit of time. So we have to actually make it back for that to make sense. We've at least found a way here to the castle, which isn't fraught with enemies. Let's use the teleport here. Go forward 4 squares. Okay, this wasn't the same door. It was the other door. Containing the rest of the spells in the game. Now I assume that we have to have this fight here. That we can't just teleport out of it. I'm going to see if we can. We can. We don't have to go through it. Can we also bypass this fight here? Potentially we can as well. Yes, we can. We don't actually have to go through every one of these. But we have to go through some of them. At least this one, for example. Although this one isn't all that difficult either. We pass these down here. Okay, they're still standing. I avoided having at least some of these fights here. Now, the question is, how do we gain access to the rest here? There must be a way here somehow. We'll use the teleport spell, see if we can find our way here. There's everlasting darkness here, so we'll cast some light. Now this is a room with a square here in the middle, which is obviously smaller one that contains what we want here. And then one final square. Atop a red pedestal rests a disc. Take it. Yes, this would be the fire disc. We now have two of them. We have the air disc and the fire disc. Potentially we can now teleport all the way over here. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To teleport 6 squares forward. We find ourselves in another 4x4 room here. There is nothing in here, but potentially a way down. Okay, there's nothing in here either. I would think that we were able to access this here somehow. Nothing here. Now we're in some big room here, some hall of some sort. There's a door, I assume it faces the outside. We know at least all of these monsters that were fighting here, they are not impossible by any means, so not very intimidated right now. Another decently large group here in front of the door. Trickster here, take him down. Then we want to get rid of this fire elemental here before he kills everyone. One of them is down. Two of them are down. Sorcerer goes down as well. Okay. Appears to be nothing else in this room here. There's no other spell or meaning by this room. I suppose this leads back out into the corridor. Enchantress is here. She's a real pain in the butt. To take her down using any means possible. We'll use the cleric to cast Divine Intervention, bring all of us back here. The most annoying thing with the Enchantress right now is that she's at the back, so she's difficult to fight. We can't. We can't fight her, and she's constantly being able to cast all of these spells on us here, causing endless amounts of damage to us. Pretty much our only hope now is that we are able to run away. Yeah, we are. We can rest here. And everyone is dead except for Magica, but we can rest and find our way back and heal. Restore our condition here. Live to fight another day. Probably sell some of this stuff here before we go back. At least cast the beacon just outside of the time machine, so we can now use the beacon to pretty much get back to where we were. No one said this was supposed to be easy, and it's not. No. Where were we? We were here. Let's visit this store here. We really did not explore it earlier. Now, spell C92 is in C155. While walking south, we already know this. We found this spell. This is the Holy Word spell. Now it's time for the Sorcerer spells. Sorcerer spell 2-1 is in Middlegate in 10-2. That would be the Equalize spell. We already found that. We got that as a reward. Now Sorcerer spell 2-6 is in Korrek's Cave in 7-11. This is our good friend, the beacon, Wedge beacon, which we've been using for a long time now. Now Sorcerer spell 3-6 is Sansobar, and 7-4. This is the Visitae spell. Already found that. And Sorcerer spell 5-2 is in C1-1-8. That is the Fingers of Death. We have not found that yet, so it's very good to have this information. It's in C1-1-8. I will mark that here with a different color, so we know we have to finish that up and to fight that spell. Now Sorcerer spell 7-1 is in A2 15-11. What is 7-1? That is the Dancing Sword. We already found that spell. It's hugely convenient in the game. We've used it a lot. It's already been found and completed. Sorcerer spell 9-3 in D1-5-6. We have not successfully been able to find this spell. I might try it in this century. It's not here in any of the other centuries I've tried. I know where it is, but we can't access it. And then there's the 9-4 spell, which is in the Gem Maker's Cave. 3-3. Now these two we have left. I've been in the gem maker's cave. I thought I had scanned all of it, and I thought we had tried everything to get to these points there, but it's it's good to know that it's actually there. I'll make another run at it. Now, we were here. Well, we were rudely interrupted by this battle here in the middle, which we should finish. This one is much easier than the previous one was, as is often the case in this game. Just the way it works. You have these incredibly difficult fights, and then the next time you go there they are easy enough. It's just a huge randomly drawn number, so the game makes it more difficult for you, making it more difficult to advance. It's just the way this blessed game works. Now I need to be careful with these plant golems. They are largely immune to melee attacks, if not completely immune, so can't afford to run out of spell points. We need to be able to cast quite a few iterations of the disintegrate spell to take them down. It will take forever to try to bring them down with something like the deadly swarm spell. We can use that on the Gorgon, and we can focus the melee attacks of the party on the Gorgons as well, which is what I'm doing. The Gorgon isn't really capable of casting the stone spell on us. Takes out maybe 1 or 2 party members, but that's about it. So far he's only managed to take down William Tell, and we can simply just cure that later on. It's not a big problem. To focus on the golems here, take them down before they take us down. We've taken down 2 of the golems. That's a huge plus. I will cast the power cure spell here on the knight in front. Then I will cast the stone to flesh spell on the archer. And then we can focus our attack on the single remaining golem. Now the disintegration spell isn't always effective, but it's mostly effective, so in the end we find ourselves winning the battle. Now we do occasionally get sent all the way back on time. That's inconvenient, but at least we mapped this square and completed this fight. We don't need to have it again. We can simply travel back to the area here. We are back in the castle. We've done basically half of it so far. I would say things are going pretty well here. Now some difficult monsters here. They did significant damage to us. Let's see how far we get in taking them down here. They've probably leveled us down considerably, annoyingly enough. See if we can cast a holy word spell. That will at least take some of them down. It will also bring William Tell back. So Roland has died. It's not good. So we can also bring him back. See how this goes here. One potential option here is casting the Divine Intervention spell to restore our condition, which we were able to do, but at the cost of aging the cleric considerably. That is simply the way this has to go. Now the stone golems are there in front, so we have to be somewhat careful as to how we use the spells. We can't simply just cast whatever we want. To take down these death agents here before they kill us all again. These are difficult battles here. Try to make sure that we don't lose either of the healers. Now just the stone golems remain. That is slowly making things easier for us. Start focus on taking them down here. Now we just have the sorcerer left to cast really any spells worth talking about. One of them is down, the other one remains. Panels with these golems can be very drawn out because it is mostly random how lucky you are in actually hitting them with the spells, and you can go multiple rounds without affecting them very much, and that potentially means that things can progress very slowly. Now we don't have an endless amount of spell points. It would be very good if we managed to land at least one blow here. And it must be said that the stone golem is quite a bit more difficult than the plant golem, which is also one of these similar monsters. It's a substantially higher armor class, so he is even more difficult to hit. I think we've at least hit him twice, but he has something close to 200 hit points, so it's going to take a while to bring him down. We can cast a disintegration spell 2 more times before we have to basically give up, which means that we have the cleric left and we'll simply have to cast a pain spell until he goes down, which might take forever, but we are lucky he finally goes down. Hireling Hall. Welcome to Hireling Hall. We have a list of hard to find hirelings. They are listed by power. We get to strongest and all our pairs except 2 and 13. Okay. So this is the key to all the hirelings in the game. This is valuable. This is similar to the Hall of Spells, and we have to walk the hall to find these hints here. Yeah, this is still the Hall of Spells here. So this is the list. So cavern under middle gate. (015). We found these very early on in the game, and we still have one of them with us, which is Sir Hiron, Zanzibar 410 5, and Volcania 424. I found all of these. Atlantium 014 2. Camera to Volcania 114 1. Tantara 1510 3. Castle Hillstone 845. D1 1414. B4 1012. A3 812. Sarkin's Mine 723. And Dawn's Cavern 411 2. I believe we've actually found all of these. D3 114 5. And here is a red interleaf. 1 letter, then 2, and finally 3 letters. Repeat. Use this order. 8526139774. Now we still have not found the red messages. They are potentially all of them in the Desert of Desolation, which we have not. It's the only outside area in the game that we have yet to complete, and that is probably what we will focus on next. Now, on top of a pedestal rest of discs, and that this would be the water disc. So we've now found 3 of the 4 discs that are hidden inside this castle here. There is a bit of a hidden space between, so we will teleport into it and see what is hiding there. Potentially something nasty. I'm sure nothing good will come of this. And I'm right. Oh, this is not an impossible fight. Like this. Lots of beasts here. There's shadow as well. Take care of the rest here. The order these are in seems to be mostly random, and they are not all very difficult. I think we're done with this bit here. It's really only this door that remains here. Open it, go in. There's nothing in here. And then there's this unlabeled door here as well. Let's see what's here. Lots of the flaming fears. I want to get rid of as many of them as we can before they start attacking us. It's enough that there are some 9 of them here. Level 2. See. 2 of these doors here. Lots of ogres, we will lock them down. Nothing very much here other than that. Let's focus on this room then. And then there's a hidden area there on the other side, which we will have to focus our attention on next. That was Envoy. So let's see if we can get rid of him as quickly as we can. I'll try to. Still 4 of them left here, which is a real. They have a lot of hit points. Start curing. We don't die. We need to remember to spread the gems when the fight is over. We are out of gems, which this is not a good time to be in that position at all. A very bad time to be in this position, but let's see. Only 3 of them left. We could potentially take them down. We don't really have any spell points left either, so it probably would not have made that much of a difference. Let's try to cure ourselves out of this here. Let's just say that the sorcerer is a substantially better spellcaster than she is a close combat fighter. And of course we find ourselves returned back, and oddly the chest that we were opening followed us all the way back. We'll sell some of this loot here and see what the training status is. We are still, the robber is about to gain an additional level. We will save and return. We are getting pretty close to finishing up Castle Xabran. And we will simply now teleport past these barrels directly to the next square after. There is no particular need to have these barrels many times. We've been in these squares, we know there's nothing to be found there. Now we need to go to the fairly large area here on the other side. It's basically the last part. This is dark, so we have to cast a lasting light spell here. Similar area to the one on the other side, except this one appears to be slightly larger. very similar to the one, except the room here in the middle is now a 2x3. Still quite a bit of room here on the other side, but let's go in here. See what's hiding there. Now this time there's no door. Atop a brown pedestal rests a disc. Take it. This would be the Earth disc. And we now have all 4 of them. We need these 4 discs to go to the elemental planes and get the talons, which we also need to complete the game. So we are drawing near. Let's teleport 3 squares forward here. That should land us directly in this area here. Let's finish exploring this hallway here. Lots of leprechauns. That's not good for our gold supply. We'll have to keep an eye on it. They are thieving bastards. Now the other being seems to be mostly immune to melee attacks, but the leprechaun certainly is not, so we will perhaps focus on melee attacks on the leprechaun. Try to bring him down here. I don't think he managed to steal anything. No, he did not. I would rather like to say that it's a bit annoying that you're in a position where the cleric sorcerer can't cast many spells. Because we have this other being here, and we are probably not going to be able to have to spend a lot of time trying to take him down. He still has 88 hit points because he can't cast any spells, or very, very few spells. A mass distortion spell seems to somewhat work, but does very little actual damage. Pain spell also seems to work, but does very little actual damage. We were able to land a blow now. He seems to have a very, very high armor class. And finally he goes down. One member of the party is eradicated, so Knight will have to search and find a trap in the treasure chest. And we will not return at this point. Try to finish this off without the robber on board. I will, however, share the gems so that we are better prepared for these fights here. Perhaps we will have to return because the robber actually has... I wonder if we can use the beacon here. No, we cannot. We will have to return because the robber holds the only person in the party who is able to map. So to bring him back to be able to map in the game. We will go back and use the time machine. Now let's see where we need to go here. We potentially want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 forward here. Seven or 8 forward. Let's try 8. That might be a middle of an encounter, which would not be great. And then go 1, 2, 3 down. Find ourselves here at the end of this hallway. Potentially there is very little left here, but there might also be something valuable, so we will have to be absolutely sure. Neither of these gives us access to this final room here. We will use the teleport spell. I'm actually surprised it works in here. Usually in the higher level dungeons in the game, the teleport spell just does not work at all. I've gotten used to that in the dungeons that we simply can't use it anymore. But it seems that it does work here, and we are very grateful that it does. Something is here. There are 16 of these demon soldiers waiting for us, and they are quite difficult actually, so I assume there's something hidden here. Might also just be an encounter with these demon soldiers. One last fight before we leave the castle. A lot of treasure at least was gained. Nothing else here, so we are basically done. However, before we leave this particular century, I want to visit D156, which should be the location of the starburst spell. I want to see if it's in this particular timeline available to us. Well, we're going to go 3 up here. And then 8 in this direction to get out of the castle. And we'll travel here. Have this fight as well. Not particularly difficult. Oh, we've already gone back in time to the 6th and 7th century to locate some objects, and that was a decently easy time at that particular moment. Now, so with this ambush here, it's unclear to me whether we have to use all of the options in the time machine. Yeah, there are 8 different time eras that we can go back to, and of course we still haven't finished the game. It's possible that we will have to do some time travel to change some already occurred events and prevent them from happening. It's not clear at this stage whether we need to do that, but at least it's required to finish this puzzle regarding Castle Xabran, because without going back in time and finding these discs, you cannot complete the game. Now, this is the dead zone here, and potentially we just want to... still labeled here. I'm unsure whether this is actually fatal to us or not. Might as well just go back to town and sell some of this stuff here. Save. Go back to the castle. Travel back to the 8th century. The bridge is not here. Now there is a way to almost get stuck in the game by using the town portal spell. Now it is not actually here. So it is in fact not here. Okay, let's save again and see if we are now strong enough to survive this. Point is, you take a lot of damage by stepping into this square, even if you teleport directly just into the middle. And so far we have not been strong enough to survive, and we might still not be to see. And we will then travel to Volcania and visit the Dragon's Cave again, see if we are ready to fight the 2 remaining dragons in the Dragon's Cave, which were, at the time we last checked, way too difficult for us still, and might be for a while. Now that is if we ever get out of these ambushes here on the way to Volcania, which are randomly generated in all of these squares, and sometimes you get ambushed many times and sometimes you don't. Seems to be mostly random. Now, there's nothing really at this point in the game to be gained by having this fight for us. I will attempt to protect us as well as I can before going in here, but I find it fairly likely that we will simply die. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 squares forward. A scorching wind burns your soul, and then blinding light pierces your brain. Your skin bubbles as unbearable pain moves like lightning through your body and leaves no traces of life. And we all end up very much dead, so we are not ready. And we will try to teleport over to Volcania, the mountain town in the Volcania area. Sign into the inn here and make our way to the Dragon's Cave. See if we stand any chance of fighting the dragon. We might. It's not out of the realms of possibility. I forget exactly how it is that it's best to get there. Fights on both sides. Let's rest here. Cast a full protection shroud over us as much as we possibly can. Turn on the lights. Oh, you can see the areas that we left behind here, which we've been unable to access. We will make an attempt here again. We can move 2 squares forward here, and we can use the jump spell. Further 2 we can move and then use the jump spell again. Then we can use the jump spell 3 times in succession to jump beyond points where we would otherwise have to have encounters. And we probably went 1 too many forward here, and we can use the jump spell here to avoid the dragons over there. We can use it once more to jump directly into this square. We can go here. And now is where things get interesting, because here is a magic serpent which we need to fight. He does an extraordinary amount of damage to us. But did only manage to bring down one of us, which is a better situation than it certainly was just a few levels ago. But he is not the one that we can't beat. I've been able to beat them before just using multiple turns. The one that I cannot beat is the one that is in here on this corner, and this is the one that is basically impossible. This is the ancient dragon. He's a real pain in the ass. Now, just the thief is left standing here. How that is possible, I don't know, but he is. Somehow the thief survives multiple rounds. Must be something about the thief that makes him stronger against the perhaps just the pure sheer dumb luck that he has. Might also be William Tell. He has a fairly high level of luck. The question then is it possible for us to give the thief better weapons so that he's likely to perhaps we can he only basically has this crossbow at this moment in time, which is not a great weapon at all. could equip him with this disruptor here. You can also just use it. It doesn't actually need to be equipped. Let's try this again. Forgot about this annoying part of this here. Let's try it again. This wasn't totally out of the realm of possibility here. It's difficult but not impossible. Go 6 forward here. Then a further 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest. Cast the full degree of protection here. And the light. And use this jump trick. Really a very convenient trick to get out of fighting the endless monsters on the way here, which there are many. We can basically jump almost directly into this dragon over here, which is at this point not impossible to kill, thankfully enough. Now we have the implosion spell, which mostly seems to work well on the dragon. Now the cleric ended up dead. Not necessarily an impossible scenario, we can simply bring him back. Cure Magicka here. Down goes the dragon. We will raise the cleric from the dead. The rest cast the full degree of protection here. And then head into what has been an impossible battle. This time around we weren't as lucky. Now no one is alive here except Magicka. Everyone is dead except for the mage, and we are able to do one hit, and not more. So we are still not ready for this battle, it seems. We'll have to do some more work to get there. Now what is potentially a task now is to solve the yellow message. We will have to decipher at some point. I might do that off stream. It's rather annoying to roll all of these letters into the correct order and follow the interleave to make them match. It took me like half an hour on stream to solve the green one, and that one was actually fairly simple. I might do that offline. So what I will do then now is just pack in for the night. Let's go back to Gate. See what we have here. We have nothing to sell. Go back to Middlegate and save the game here. And we will continue tomorrow. I will solve the yellow interleaf offline, figure out what this says, and tomorrow we might as well complete mapping the outside. There are two of these squares, E2 and E3, and they potentially also have the red message, and we already have a key to solving that as well. Need to read both of these messages, and I will potentially try to do that tomorrow. And then of course we have 3 additional dungeon levels in the castles to go. Hopefully we will then have found the items that we need to finish the battle with the dragons, or at least found a way to get around it. I think we will just retire for the night. There is no particular need to raid anyone. There are only basically the 2 of us here, so I will just say good night. Thanks for coming to the stream. It's appreciated. I love having people here while I'm actually doing this. It's much more fun in the presence of others, and hope to see you again here tomorrow. There is still quite a bit to be done in the game. And until then, later.